It's the Odd Drunk Podcast, a very strange podcast, the drunkest show in the world. It's Jackson and Colton talking out of their ass. We don't care as long as drinks are poured. Sometimes we have our friends here. We will talk about anything. We don't care as long as we have beer. And if you let that whiskey ring. The Odd Drunk Podcast.
I feel like, Colton. What do I feel like?
I don't know. I do have strict instructions from my partner.
What do we feel?
She says she gave us strict instructions to not get arrested while recording this episode.
That would be something.
She specifically said, "Don't get arrested."
Well, yeah, I don't see any Nintendo or Ubisoft cronies on my window, so that's a good sign. Just imagine.
I think those Nintendo guys are on top of us. They're all of our emulation.
Yeah, they've already
talking about. We're
yeah.
probably on their hit list.
Oh, we're definitely on the Nintendo blacklist. Anyways, I feel like we should start this episode.
Maybe.
It's been a long time coming. Wait. Before we get into that, welcome back to the Odd Drunk Podcast, the show where two 20-something-year-old men have a drink and have a chat.
Yeah.
And a lot of fuck all in between. That's pretty much
we're gonna try to sound smart.
Summary. We're gonna try to sound smart. I'm gonna be so smart.
Whether or not
smarter than you.
Like
I be smart.
Smart. Me
smart.
Me smart.
Yeah.
Me say many
whether
true things.
Whether or not you are smart or not, you're welcome to listen to this podcast. But we believe in you. There's something you're good at.
Yes, I'm sure there is.
And don't say, I'm good at taxidermy in my attic. And don't say you have barrels of acid in your basement with human body parts.
What?
Sorry. I've been watching some I don't know why. It just popped up in my YouTube feed. I've been watching
stuff about how to dispose of a body.
No, well, it's adjacent to that. Stuff about Jeffrey Dahmer and John Gacy, serial killers. I don't know why. It's not something I'm generally like into or in the mood for, but I was like, it's sick how people get entertained by that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's more that it's a sick curiosity I think we all have. I think that's why true crime is so popular.
I kind of get it because of that. It's like I get it's one of those things where I think a lot of people just find it really fascinating because they just can't quite help but find it fascinating.
Yeah, how can we But like the Dahmer show, we talked about it, but that came out a couple of years ago at this point with Evan Peters and everything. I'm glad there hasn't been a lot of that since then. I mean, there's been a lot of documentaries, of course, and different spins on things. You had
yes, Zac Efron did.
Zac Efron, Ted Bundy, where it's from the perspective of his girlfriend, etc.
They did a while back. They did another Dahmer movie. It was My Friend Dahmer, and it was, it's the origin story.
Like it's growing
prequel.
Up. Yeah. Yeah, but it's real and it affected real people, and I think kind of making the Joker but Dahmer is it's crossing the line. It's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but you can't help but be fascinated, especially by Evan Peters' performance is great. But I think it's just a shame, and this just has been something, and it will continue to go on. And uh, like serial killers always will get like Jack the Ripper, who we actually DNA evidence. We've actually found
Yeah.
out who Jack the Ripper was. Not. I don't know if we have a
We,
name,
we have a good idea, much better idea
but
than we used to, at
potentially a
least.
Polish immigrant.
Oh, blame it on the
Yeah,
immigrants.
I
Yeah,
know. I know. I
Jackson.
hated seeing that. I
Oh,
did not want it to be that.
blame it on the Poles.
Uh,
That's so
but
English of them.
it is. What
England
if
is
I
so
mean, how do
desperate
they
to
really
not
know? What if
have the
they're just like,
most
yeah, it was
famous
probably just
serial.
some Pole. Anyways,
As someone who has Scottish ancestry, I have to assume that this
yeah,
DNA evidence is just the English trying to make themselves look better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, Jack the Ripper. We've not even we've uh, thought about doing dipping our toes in the true crime realm,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying it's not a possibility. Just depends how
It's
we
just,
tackle it.
it's just one of those things that
Um,
this is a podcast where we do a lot of jokes and we do a lot of it's
I mean,
like we don't take things super seriously and we'd have to be really careful.
I think it would be a matter of it's okay to laugh at things, but yeah, you would have to really tread carefully and actually take the matter seriously, not of course offend
Yeah. You
the
don't want
family of victims like
you
when
don't
yeah
want to
when they
glorify stuff that shouldn't be glorified
apparently the
and
writers of
when
like
you're talking about like known serial killers now, it's like these aren't some people just in the past where like we died in a war in the Middle Ages and we're disconnected from it. Like these are people like people who knew them are still around,
yeah.
you know.
Well, yeah, because most of the worst serial killers, for whatever reason, came out about in the, like basically 60s through 80s.
Hmm.
That's not exclusive, but yeah, the
I
60s and
know
the 70s in particular,
I know a guy
um,
who he told me recently
which is 50 years ago at this
he
point, but
said he
still, that's
probably he said he probably met John Wayne Gacy.
well, he was a politician. Well, not a
Well,
politician, but he did a lot of
he was like an
uh
academic dude.
academic.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he did a
and
lot of stuff at the Democratic
and
Party.
that's where
Uh,
this guy I know, he said that he was either going
and
to
was a clown.
school or like working in that area and on that campus
Hmm.
the same time that he was there. And he's like I didn't
Terrifying.
obviously didn't personally know him, but he's like the
Yeah.
likelihood that I bumped into him at some point is really high.
Well, you have to laugh at the fact that John Wayne Gacy was a businessman embroiled in the local to state Democratic politics of wherever he was, Chicago or
Yeah.
Upper Midwest,
Yeah,
wherever,
I don't remember.
not Chicago, Illinois, etc. But that, and then also a clown. And who's to say? I mean, politicians aren't clowns, regardless. In fact, just
Hey,
without the makeup, right?
you got to make ends
Um,
meet, you know. And
but he was also a serial murderer.
you got to make
And
ends
see,
meet,
that's
Jackson.
that's where that's where it's like you joke around, but then you state the actual reality of it,
Yeah.
and then it becomes it goes into a dark place, and it's like, okay, how do we get out of this? Like comedic, not even comedically, but ethically at that point. How do we make this entertaining and educational? And I think there's a lot of good, well, not a, there's good true crime podcasts out there, but I've listened to some, and I've listened to one that was even considered to be one of the like better, like top ones.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it was just a case of like one of their earlier episodes or something, and I won't even name. They're a popular true crime podcast, like very massive, but they they were covering this not a not a well-known serial killer, going into the, not just the big infamous ones, but
Hmm.
they were covering this killer, like the hillside strangler in Florida or whatever the fuck. Um, but it's not that they were glorifying it, but like the way they were just casually talking about like such vicious acts and just like laughing it off. It was uncomfortable. It didn't
Yeah.
like if I watch any true crime thing or whatever, I really just want it just rather separated from
Yeah.
not that it can be, but it's so yeah, it's so hard get, to joke about something without it coming across as careless or
Yeah.
uh just rather
And there's a difference between having a little bit of levity and
yeah,
making jokes about it, and
and then but also
sometimes the line is kind of blurry.
and I've listened to yeah, no, same one I was listening to. It almost I don't know the way they talked it made it sound like that he's a cool serial killer. This is a cool one to talk about,
One of the
that kind.
one of the cool ones.
Yeah, and that didn't quite sit right with me. Anyways, let's get on before we get on to the main topic though,
Mhm.
which is not serial killers. Uh,
No,
I mean, there could have been like prehistoric. I mean, I wasn't like one of the first fossils of a human we found like a murder
I don't know.
or something. Or I remember they found like the first like recorded murder like a 40,000 years ago or something crazy like that, or at least they would think. Um, but before we get into it, uh, I have to mention, and we could probably do a whole episode on this, talk about it a lot more on Morning Oddities or our other show,
A
which is
430,000-year-old skull from Spain
400. Jeez.
is the first evidence of deliberate lethal blunt force trauma.
There you go. We could talk about prehistoric.
Not even a Homo sapien. I think it's
Oh, like
a no, Neanderthalis or something.
okay. So we could
Um,
talk about Neanderthal serial killers. So far
hey,
removed.
we didn't invent it.
No. What, the killing? Needlessly killing?
Murder
I think murder. Yeah, that's yeah.
it's not
I
our fault.
that is very much a human thing, right?
Well, apparently not. Apparently it's a
Or
Neanderthal
well,
thing too.
homo.
Hey, that is very
Primates.
homophobic of you,
That's
Jackson.
okay.
That
Now
is not okay.
stop yourself there. Um, I have to talk about a video game,
Yes,
as we often do.
as
Uh,
we always do.
right. I ended up getting much to your delight. I ended up getting Kingdom Come Deliverance 2,
Yes,
and I'm very glad. I've already put about 20 hours into it, and I
nice.
just now got my dog.
Mutt, he's a good boy.
But yeah,
He's
he's a good boy. And also Pebbles, I don't care what the NPCs say. They're so cruel and judgmental of Pebbles, but he is my horse till end game.
yeah.
I've already decided on that. Yeah, I know he's not as
He can,
and I know his carry capacity sucks and
and he can
etc.
and he can be a little shit sometimes.
Yeah, but I know
Um,
he could be upgraded
he
at some point or something
he
like
has gotten me killed several times,
just rearing you off like
rearing me off.
with when a wolf pack shows up or
Well, there was
bandits or
one. There was the other day I was playing and I ran. There was a couple bandits and I was like, I don't feel like fighting these guys right now. So I just sprinted past them on pebbles. And right as I passed them, he reared up and fucked me off and ran away.
Yep.
And then I got ganged up by a bunch of bandits.
And I will say, just the well, before we talk about quests and whatnot, one of the things that kind of worried me is just the kind of it's so immersive, like it's so like anti-power fantasy, but you do end up getting there.
Yeah.
Even
When
relatively early on in the game, some perks can be a game changer, or like
it's
if you
it's
learn the
a
master strikes from Tomcat,
it's a
like
it's
that
more
makes
forgiving
combat.
than the first game was
Yeah.
in like letting you feel like you're becoming decent at stuff
Hmm.
earlier on. Like I'm at the point now where like I
I could
can
take down like 4 guys in a row.
Yeah, I'm at the. I just
depending
did a
on.
quest where I went and I killed a bunch of bandits in a bandit camp, and there was like 4 or 5 of them,
Yeah.
and I just pulled down my visor and went in with my longsword and
Oh, you already got
just
a
and
a
fucking
visor
slaughtered
helmet.
them. I swapped it out for a different one because I found a better helmet.
I
That
just got one of those, like it looks like a hat,
oh yeah, yeah.
whatever it's called,
I was
but
rocking
it's a
one of
good
those.
early
Yeah,
armor.
yeah.
Um,
I have a
I
visor one.
well that one
Um,
noble, I did get to the point where you fight the where you track down the wagon from the blacksmith
hmm
and you run into that. Well, the noble made the deal with the thief, well, the steal all their shit.
yeah.
And I was like, damn, I want his armor because that looks like the
Oh yeah.
in-game map UI armor
Yeah, I want his
almost.
armor too. I'm doing
I
a
was
quest
really
for him.
upset because we had him on the ropes. I was
hmm
really upset that the game actually, that's one of the rare cases of the game actually keeping you from killing somebody or otherwise altering um the world,
So
the actual.
I was reading through some Reddit threads. You can kill him in that mission,
Really.
but it's hard and the mission doesn't like give you enough time to really do it most of the
Yeah,
time.
because as soon as
But
he's
under the right circumstances, you can actually kill him. But I saw one player did it and they actually got in trouble from the Lord.
right,
The
yeah,
Lord
because
got
he's a
really angry with them,
noble, or no, he's a
and
lord,
like
and
they like fined the player like 2,000 groschen or something like that
oh
for
wow.
it because he killed a noble.
Well, yeah, and Lord
Um,
Sabine would make that decision.
yeah.
But I'm dude, I haven't been like it's not even like the same kind of addiction like let's say a multi like a game like Marble Rivals provides.
hmm
Like Marble Rivals, it's like, oh, I'm gonna keep advancing, keep I'm platinum now as Storm, by the way.
Nice, nice.
On my way to Diamond. Feels good. Especially like once you get the gold and like towards platinum, you start getting with actually good players and like
hmm
like actually communicating.
Yeah.
Like I was like, hey, let's get a Thor and a Johnny Storm. Get the and Human Torch is good by the way. The Human Torch
hmm
Storm combo where he flames on with the her hurricane
Oh yeah.
and it gives it extra damage, etc. And then the Thor Storm combo where you do chain lightning and basically there's just extra lightnings
Yeah.
going around as you would imagine. So just extra damage. But like we did that and we won. And, like we had a good support and tank. The thing I've been playing around the thing.
Mm.
So here's the thing. The, we me and some of my Discord mates on Rivals we made that joke for like 3 hours straight during gameplay, just like within the group chat, or not even within the lobby chat, so everybody could see it. And like, no one, like, even though it got annoying, no one like told us to stop.
I've gotten in trouble for making bad jokes in chats and multiplayer game. Do you remember do you remember us playing the Pirates of the Caribbean online,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
the fan remake? I
yeah.
remember playing that one day and I got onto some random guy's ship in his crew and I made the joke in the chat. I go, "What's a pirate's
Uh,
favorite letter?" And then, the R, no, you think it'd be R, it'd actually
it,
be the C.
it be
And
the
then
sea.
they kicked me from the crew.
I think I remember that. That was legendary. Um, but no, the thing about that joke
No.
is that there's no punchline. It's just like you think you're gonna the punchline is in of itself in the setup. So here's the thing. Yeah.
Yep.
And just leave it there. Well, it's funnier when you actually have a picture of Ben Grimm, the thing. Um, Multiple different versions. There's even one that doesn't wear pants. It's uncomfortable. Um, what was I getting? But yeah, anyways, it's not scratching that type of itch. It's scratching what Kingdom Come's doing for me. It feels like an Elder Scrolls game without magic, but
Yeah.
even better. Like it feels like Oblivion, like exploring the countryside of Bohemia has been one of the honestly just little moments just in between combat or like even quest, just riding from one place to another or turning a corner or finding a camp or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really bringing me back to that feeling I
And
had when I
it's
first played Skyrim of
there's little moments in it, I think, where it's, it does a lot to really force you to role play, but at the
yeah,
same time it has enough leeway where you can still be a little bit of a psychopath.
well, and I think hint, yo, I'm absolute. I did end up having to pay off some debts for murders. I'll never do it again, I promise. But
You have those moments where
my
where
Henry,
the bailiff or a guard is chasing you out of town and
yeah. Well, I love how, yeah, like you mentioned before about how if you don't take a bath or you stink or covered in whatever, and then you try to interact with anybody, they're like, "Fuck, man, you stink. Can you
I
you
showed
smell
up.
like arse,
I
you know,
showed
that
up
kind
to
of
the
thing."
tavern in Truskovich, to try to sleep, and I walk up and I go, can I sleep here for the night? And she goes, no, get out of here, you fucking vagrant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell? And then I look
But
at my
they're
character, and like his shirt is like
yeah,
at zero, so like the model doesn't reflect it, but it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
as if you walked in with just like a torn up shirt, like covered in blood.
yeah.
You're like, can I sleep here
But
tonight?
it's not so annoying because there's a trough like pretty much at every major uh, location.
Yeah,
Like I just go in the trough, wash off real quick before I interact with anybody.
yeah.
Um,
And you can, there's
I've
a,
yet to actually take a proper bath in the game.
yeah, I did it once.
Uh,
And it doesn't seem worth it. Although
mm,
it implies that you can hire, the girls for,
I could like
to
Red Dead.
do it with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Of
Um,
course, of course.
uh,
Yeah, but
but you can like wash your clothes in a laundry spot in in one of the
yeah,
towns and stuff like that.
but truly, truly, loving the game. I haven't like like I mentioned how I was playing modded Skyrim before.
Hmm.
I haven't felt any need to go back to that because I'm enjoying Kingdom Come,
Nice.
and that says something.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, so far out of what I played and seen, it's definitely a game of the year contender, but I don't really care about that. I just care that
I'm,
Warhorse has made a immersive game that you can really sink into, that feels like a true RPG for
yeah.
once. And I
Yeah.
love
And
that.
it's just a fun game to exist in.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I have a good time just going blacksmithing.
dude, I've spent hours of gameplay just gambling, blacksmithing.
Yeah.
Uh,
My Henry absolutely has a gambling problem.
yeah.
I am
Like
very
I
into
got
the
some of the
dice
lucky
game.
die and king die and
Um,
stuff. But it's
I'm in the first act of the game still. I'm about 35, 40 hours in. I'm in the first act. I have not gone to the wedding yet.
I'm close to the wedding.
I'm very
I don't know
close.
if I
I'm
feel
at the
like I'm
point
not even
where,
speed running it, but I guess I'm
yeah. Well, I'm at the point right now where I can go to the wedding, but I'm just
okay.
still wandering around. But my point is, like, you can probably get to the wedding within the first 15 hours of the game
Hmm.
if
And
you
that's
wanted to.
yeah, that's
But it's
rushing
just
it.
so easy to just exist in the world and
Well,
wander
the
around
side
and explore and get into shenanigans
I
that
never feel annoyed by like taking a long route for a side quest.
hmm
I avoid fast traveling in this game.
hmm
I'll do it, I mean, from time to, especially if it's just to go back to a smithy or go back to an inn, sleep, and then continue on my adventure, but or whatever. But I like there was a mission where I found this drunkard in a tree. It's part of the mutt quest line and everything.
yeah.
But I actually waited till nightfall, and I just in
hmm
between that, I played some die, did some smithing, just wandered about, got into
Yeah.
some shenanigans, and then started the quest.
Yeah.
I only sleep either to well simply to recover health or save the game, but I don't feel the need, like even like in Skyrim, like to wait.
hmm
to just pass time until the mission's ready or whatever. No, I want
Yeah,
to enjoy
you can go and
this.
do
You want to
stuff.
stay in and enjoy everything it has to offer, and every little offshoot in the trail or whatever is there's something. It's
Yeah.
not like a
I mean,
crazy densely
I
packed
think
like
my favorite
world.
quest so far, I don't know if you played it,
I
where
think it's a realistically uh, dense open world, but not to the point where it's like absurd,
it's not
not
overwhelming.
overwhelming.
It's not a collectathon with just a bunch of
Yeah,
markers on the map for you to check off type of thing.
everything feels like
Um,
it has a significance and
I don't know if you've
importance.
done the quest where you are tasked with making sure the humans that were at the tavern don't come back to the tavern.
I just got that one.
Okay, there's a few different ways you can handle it, but one of the ways, and I'm not going to tell you how to do it, is you end up on a drunken bender with them
All
in
right.
the woods.
I like
And
it.
I swear, like there's a sequence in it where you also there's an option in the game when you are tasked when you're told to follow an NPC where you can press a button and Henry will follow them automatically at their own pace.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, the follow and
amazing.
like ride along the trail, which isn't
Yeah,
crazy stuff, but just little nice quality of
it's
life
nice.
features
But
that
yeah,
they didn't have to put in, but
there's a part in that quest line where I'm following this human through the woods, and we are both like almost probably blackout drunk, and he's singing in whatever, his language, and Henry is singing along but doesn't know the language, so it has button prompts where you have to press the button to sing, and
that's
Henry will
awesome.
drunkenly sing this line that he just made up on the spot. And I was like
And
laughing during this. It was
you
great.
know, it's a funny game. It is. I've laughed out loud at the shit,
Yeah.
especially like the opening. I I got our early sequence where it's you and Sir Hans Coben.
Hmm.
I believe that's his name. But you first get accosted by the guards of no you get accosted by the guards, etc.
Hmm.
And I try to do a speech check where I'm like, "Oh, we're here on this mission to deliver a letter. We're, you know, here," and I fail it, and then Sir Hans is like, you fucking idiot! You almost got us killed." Like NPCs are not afraid to be mean. Like
Yeah, and I
you
love
fucked up, and it will continue. It will just
when you
let you.
fail a speech check,
It
Henry will actually say something stupid. So like
yeah
if you're trying to be charismatic, there's again in one of the quests I played, I'm trying to, you know, there's a character who doesn't speak the same language as me, but he wants me to help him court a maiden. So I have to translate for him, but Henry doesn't speak, so he has to just make stuff up. And one of the dialogue
yeah
options is you can tell her that the guy thinks she's beautiful. So I click it, and Henry goes, and I failed. And
yeah
Henry goes, he thinks you're beautiful. He thinks your teeth are like look like stars, they're yellow and far apart. And,
yeah.
and Henry will say something that will like when she slaps him, you can like you're like, yeah, you had that
Well,
coming.
it doesn't feel just arbitrary, like just an arbitrary skill check. Like Henry himself will either successfully do a speech
Yeah.
check or not.
It's like, does
But
Henry actually know
it's
what to
not like you
say?
have the dialogue option that has the exact script and then you think it's gonna work, but then just because you don't have a high enough
Yeah.
charisma, it doesn't
Or if you
work.
do like an
Um,
intelligence speech
yeah.
check and you fail that, it'll be obvious from the dialogue that Henry has no fucking idea what he's talking about,
Yeah.
and the NPCs call him on his bullshit.
Yeah. But oh, and Henry, I mean the actor, but the actual character is one of the best examples, along with like Geralt, and I would also argue Arthur Morgan, even though it's not a RPG per se. Red Dead often kind of feels like quasi RPG.
Yeah, it has
As
choices
much
and
as
stuff.
Rockstar's ever done, it's like as close to an RPG as Rockstar's ever done, right?
Yeah,
Not like stats wise, but just like how you play the character and interact with the world, right?
right.
But I think he's one of the best like voice protagonists. Like you
Yeah.
can do a voice protagonist and have it work and you still feel like you're playing your version of Henry, but
Yeah.
like it's convincing and well acted enough and just having the wide breadth of dialogue options, whether in success or failing checks, you feel invested in your character. It's not
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
otherwise
I've
the kind of
seen
Fallout 4 where it's just the kind
I've
of
seen on the Nexus mods, because there's a already quite a lot of mods
yeah,
for
I've
the
been
game.
taking a look at it.
There's a quite a few mods I've seen that are face replacements for Henry, and I can understand why someone might want to do that because they want to have their character. But
I see.
I'm also like, nah, I would never do that to my boy Henry.
No, I'm playing Henry.
Like he's my
I
boy.
could play my how I see Henry,
Yeah.
but I like being in the shoes and the first person perspective all the way through. Like with Elder Scrolls, yeah, I like having a third person option just to see your armor or whatever, but you'll see
Hmm.
that enough and plenty enough in dialogue and
Yeah, and there's
etc.
a
Um,
camera mode. I'm playing on the Steam Deck. It's
mm,
just you click both thumbsticks at once and it goes
yeah.
into a camera mode.
Oh, how does it run on the deck?
Runs well. It's on medium low settings, graphic
But
settings,
still, you can do
but
it.
it's still so on medium to low graphic settings, it still looks phenomenal.
No, it's a great
Like it's
looking game
just a really good
and does
game.
have a lot of gimmicks. Like
And I
it kind
haven't
of has a more old school game design, like as far
yeah.
like just and God rays and like stuff like that, but not like
Yeah.
But it looks so good,
But
because there's a
I
real
have
direction
it. I
to it.
know it can do more than 30 FPS, but I have it locked at 30 FPS. Like it's doesn't dip to
I
29 ever.
I I've been running at ultra at like 90 to 100 FPS.
Nice. Yeah.
And yeah, it's a fucking good looking game.
It's
And that
really
definitely helps
really
with the
well
immersion.
optimized. It is more well
Oh yeah.
optimized. I saw some people point out like on high-end PCs and stuff, they were like, this game runs better right now than the first game runs right
Right.
now on
Yeah.
their high-end PC. So like if you have a decent PC, like this is
Yes.
gonna, it runs better than the first game does still, which is impressive that they
Yeah.
did that.
But anyways, enough. But yeah, really enjoying that. Um, we could talk a bit about, well, we could save a lot of it for morning oddities, but AC Shadows.
Hmm.
Just I briefly touch on it. It got delayed till March 20th. Physical copies have actually been leaked, like from warehouses and stuff, and people are like selling
Yeah,
it in the marketplace for like
which
$100
which
a disc.
isn't
Um,
isn't a sign that the game's going to be bad or anything like that. It's just it's a bad look for
I
Ubisoft as a company, I
well,
think.
yet the whole course of this game has been a bad look for the company with the controversy of Yasuke and like them
Yeah.
finding like an anime sword in one of their concept art pieces. And yeah, just overall, and I'm not saying it's a universal thing, but Japanese historians being kind of pissed off about how things are being portrayed, etc. But then
Yeah.
also other parties who would say, oh, it's just a game, it's an
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed game, it's historical fiction at best, as
My
long as
whole
they get the
thing
look of things right.
my whole thing with like historical fiction and games, and this goes for movies too, is the only time that I think it's not okay to take liberties is when a piece of media is trying to present itself as accurate.
Yeah,
But if it's not
and that's what.
outright saying that it's accurate in the first place and it gets stuff wrong, that's fine. Like I know, I mean, Ridley Scott had the Napoleon, that movie that came
Oh
out
yeah, yeah,
a couple years ago, and I remember people were online were hitting up Ridley Scott and being like, "Yo, this isn't very historically accurate," and his response was basically, "It's a movie, fuck off."
yeah.
Which, yeah, I back him up on that because he's just like, "I'm not trying to make a fucking documentary. It's a movie." Like,
Yeah, but
but the problem is Assassin's Creed games do, even though they aren't historically accurate, and they're science fiction fantasy games at the end of the day. Um, they often do at least attempt to say, here are some stuff that we actually put some effort into making historically accurate. That's the problem I had with Assassin's Creed Valhalla and how it portrayed um, uh, uh, 9th century England. Was that not that I had a problem with any of the portrayals, but the portrayals were based more in pop culture than they were in history. And the game still had a fucking historical tour mode, by where they had the balls to say, "Here's a tour through what London actually looked like," and it's like, oh, you just fuck off. Just say it's not historically accurate and move on. Like, don't.
I will say Kingdom Come does a really great job of like accuracy, right?
Oh, Kingdom
But
Come is like
it feels
gold
like I feel like
standard
I'm in a
for historical.
real world. I feel like I'm
Well, all the
traveling to
places
the
are real.
past. Yeah, no, yeah, I know, yeah, and just the actual design, like nothing is fantasized or
Yeah.
romanticized. It
To
just
to
is
to
what
the
it
point
is.
of the lake at the beginning of the game where you get ambushed is a real lake, and the road that you camp next to
Hmm.
is a real road that is still there today. You can go to there. That's
That's
fun.
awesome.
Like they've
So
been
Ubisoft
crazy.
made a statement. And well, I'll just read it off here. We are aware players have accessed Assassin's Creed Shadows ahead of its official release. The development team is still working on patches to prepare the experience for launch, and any footage shared online does not represent the final quality of the game. Leaks are
Mhm.
unfortunate and can diminish the excitement for players. Side note, it's actually made me more excited. I'll tell you why.
Mhm.
We kindly ask you not to spoil the experience for others. Thank you to our community for already taking steps to protect everyone from spoilers. Stay in the shadows, avoid the spoilers, and keep an eye on our channel for more official surprises in the coming weeks. March 20th will be here soon. Um, does
That's
that
a
announcement scream panic?
No, that's about as calm and collected of a response as they could
Which
give.
goes to my theory that this is a marketing scheme. Like seriously, this is getting people talking about your game, and apparently, from what I've heard about the leaks, it actually performs well. Like I saw one person say that yeah, it feels like Ghost of Tsushima, but with an Assassin's Creed twist, with improved stealth and uh, a beautiful world, etc. Um, and that it runs well, like on the disc version, pre day one patch, just straight out of the box.
Hmm.
I'm not saying it's going to be like a 9 or 10 out of 10 game by any means, but if it ends up coming out, okay, well, there's a couple different options, and then we'll get into our topic. But if it ends up coming out and being a bad game, then yeah, Ubisoft is pretty much their fate is sealed. And the only thing that would save them at that point is like a Black Flag remake, and it would have to be a damn good one. But would that save the franchise? No, but it would at least make Ubisoft, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Um, but then you also have the option where it just ends up being fine, which is also kind of bad. Um, People they really need a big win, and if it just ends up being fine, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people, still a shit ton of people that play it because it's a big title that people know, and I'll want to give it a try. But if it does end up being like, oh, this is actually good, it's been delayed, but like for good reason, this is a return to form, blah blah blah. Um, uh, then yeah, I, I, I wanna, I wanna be a part of that. But even if it ends
Yeah.
up just
Yeah.
being mid to average, I would want to check it out, like when it goes on sale or whatever. But I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
it to be a good game.
Yeah. I mean,
I like Assassin's Creed.
I
I
love the
grew up
Assassin's
with
Creed
those were some of
games.
my first like M-rated
Like
like some of my first
the
games
the
I've really
franchise
got
in
into.
general is like one of my favorite franchises.
Yeah.
It's just the
So
as much as the highs of the franchise are so high, the lows are pretty fucking low.
yeah, but and if
That being said,
also another
I
thing,
still always enjoy
another thing
them.
though.
Even the Assassin's Creed games, don't think super highly of. I still found enjoyment in them at times.
I will say something
But-
though.
Mhm.
If it feels anything like Valhalla or Odyssey, etc., the whole RPG trilogy, if it
Mhm.
feels anything like that, it is dead in the water.
It's going. I bet it's going to at least a bit.
It
From
has.
the gameplay we've seen, there are still
I
elements
know.
of it. Um,
And I guess certain combat elements is okay, but if there's like Mirage did the thing where like it tried to do a return to form, you're just running around in a city and you need to do more
yeah.
stealth and whatever. You have the white hood, all that, but it still had the RPG layer underneath it. It just didn't
Mhm.
show any of the levels
It's
in the
yeah.
UI. It just the UI changed.
Well, it's also Mirage we
And the
know
leveling.
started as a DLC for Valhalla,
Yeah.
and it just grew into its own
Um,
title.
but I'm okay with the combat having the same kind of basis as the previous games. But like if it isn't true like Assassin's Creed style stealth where you can just one shot anyone no matter what, there's no level
Hmm.
locked off areas and like arbitrary just stat issues. I don't want an RPG when I'm playing Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't. I
they're a
really they
power
tried that.
fantasy thing.
I want to play my character. I want a awesome third person stealth action adventure romp,
Yeah,
and a cool area world to explore while at it. Um, I don't know how large the map is like Japan.
it's
Uh,
just Japan.
and we'll
Um,
see how that goes. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima chose Tsushima Island, and that really worked well because they made a
mhm.
hand detailed, but still relatively good size open world, but
Yeah,
handcrafted, right? Not just like, oh, let's just put in procedurally generated stuff to fill in the gaps.
yeah. No, I mean, Ghost of Tsushima is like a master class example of open
That's the
world
standard for
building.
an open world samurai
Yeah,
Japanese feudal game. They beat Assassin's Creed Ubisoft to the punch. Um, so what is Ubisoft? What is Assassin's Creed gonna do to make it feel like its own thing? And I
yeah.
think, like with the female character, who's just pretty much just the shinobi, the assassin, the ninja.
Hmm.
Um, she's the one I'm most excited for to actually play because
Yeah.
I just want to play it like a old Assassin's
Want to
Creed game.
want to be an assassin. That's
Yeah,
the yeah.
that's how you set itself apart by still putting the emphasis on stealth first, and um, we'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see. Anyways, that's enough preamble to all this. I'm really excited for this episode. I've
Yeah.
been prepping for it, so to say. Um,
Yeah.
uh, we are talking about the Ice Age,
Yeah. Yeah.
the Ice Age film franchise from
And we're gonna
Blue Sky Entertainment,
go
Blue
off
Sky
we're gonna go
Studios,
off from there,
and 20th Century Fox.
and we're gonna talk about Ray Romano's also his extended catalog of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, the Ice Age.
Yes. The actual Ice Age. The
Well, the films.
yeah.
But before we get started on the uh,
Um
uh, well regarded, beloved Ice Age
mhm.
franchise, um, I may ask, what are you drinking today or
I'm
tonight?
I'm drinking
Rather.
some non-alcoholic Guinness tonight.
Okay,
Guinness Zero. Um I just didn't
is
really feel
everything
I didn't feel like drinking alcohol tonight, so I'm drinking this. Although when I was at the store, guess what they have now?
what's that?
They're selling non-alcoholic White Claws now.
Um, what's just stopping you from getting like a Waterloo or a LaCroix or
I have to imagine that's just what they are.
anything uh or just actual White Claw? Like I would look at the non-alcoholic and be like, "Oh, that's fun. It's kind of stupid. I'll just get regular White Claw if I'm gonna
Yeah.
do that." Okay. I mean, White Claw all already tastes like it's non-alcoholic,
Yeah.
which is kind of the dangerous part of it, right? Because they don't have a lot. It's like
Well,
4% at max
yeah.
per can for the regular ones at least. But you just like drink like 6 of them in a row, and then it finally starts to catch up with you, and your stomach feels like it's gonna explode. Um,
That go
I'm
chugging
also drinking a
those.
seltzer, non-alcoholic. It's got
Hmm.
5 milligrams.
Nice.
What do the milligrams connect to or pertain to? I'll
I
leave that to
wouldn't.
your
I don't
imagination.
know.
No, it's I
5 milligrams of
give me
sugar
yeah, that'd be
of
good.
red number
I,
5.
yeah. Oh, I hope they get rid of that. I hope RFK gets rid of all the red and yellows in this country. Yellow number 5 or
Just
whatever.
all the reds and yellows.
And our foods, Colton. No, but side tangent though, like a lot of like European countries don't have that. Like they'll have like Doritos, but it doesn't have the yellow number 5 or whatever,
Yeah,
and
because
it
it's
just looks
unnecessary.
it's the same flavor. It just doesn't look neon orange,
Yeah.
you know. But no, this is Wink WYNK Wink seltzers. And yes, they are THC uh drinks, seltzers. They have a 2.5 which is 2.5 THC and 2.5 CBD, so it's 1-to-1 ratio. I have the
Hmm.
5 because 2.5 doesn't quite do it for me. And I also made myself a bit of a screwdriver
Nice.
with some well, vodka and orange juice. And I also had a little beer with that, whatever you would call that. Papago Orange Blossom Mandarin Wheat. Um, it's uniquely Arizona. That's what it says. Uh, I like wheat beer with hints of bright citrus and creamy vanilla. Serve with a fresh orange slice, the perfect relief. It's kind of basically like a Blue Moon.
Yeah,
Um, but I happen to like Blue Moon. I know some people
I
would
do
say
too.
it tastes like old, like left out overnight orange juice,
Well, I
but
like
I happen
old
to
left.
like that. Yes.
Yeah, Blue Moon's good. I like Blue Moon.
Yeah, I'll have a
Just
blue, especially it's a good
A
summer.
good Belgian,
A Belgian white. Yeah, it's a good
Belgian
summer
white, yeah,
beer.
or
Um,
wit beer,
yeah,
you
and
might call it.
man, I'm glad spring is nigh. Well, it's
Yeah.
coming a lot sooner for us. Um,
Oh, it's been like 60 degrees up here because
oh, that's nice.
global warming.
Yay!
Yay! But I've been
And
enjoying it because I like 60 degrees more than 40
yeah,
degrees.
yeah.
So,
The well, you would say we're in global warming, but some people would say we're in a contemporary ice age.
do they?
Some people.
Some people do.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there. I'm sure some people would say that. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna talk about the Ice Age tonight.
Hmm.
A true return to form for us. You know, we did dinosaurs in the past. We did an episode on pirates and Vikings. You know, just these kind of vague, well, just these large, just general topics, historical topics, right?
Yeah.
Uh, we have fun with it, and hopefully you learn something.
Yeah. Just
Of
I mean
course,
I mean
I would like to talk about the actual prehistoric period itself, but I am, of course, I'm I don't know if you got something different prepared for us here, or you did a different batch of research, but I am still referring to the Ice Age film franchise, the
Yeah.
animated children, the squirrel and the sloth,
Yeah, and Ray Romano.
and Ray Romano. Uh
He Ray Romano showed
Dennis
up in the
Leary,
50th
John
the
Leguizamo.
50th anniversary
Oh, he was great.
SNL special,
He was great.
which I did not
I
expect.
forget that he was the mammoth.
Yeah, he's the mammoth in it. Yeah,
He is
Manny.
Manny, of course.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into the lore of that. I How long am I gonna keep? No, it's not anything. What am I saying? How long is this gonna go? No, it's nothing. It's
Yeah.
honest to God truth. Uh,
Wait,
um,
wait, wait. Hold the
what?
hold
Hold
the
your
fuck
horses.
up. John Leguizamo, John Leguizamo is Sid in those
Yeah,
movies.
yeah.
I did not know that.
Well, yeah, he is.
That's awesome.
I may have not have known that.
I'm just discovering that right now.
He was a bad. He's been a lot of like bad like gangster or cartel type characters in a lot of movies.
Yeah. My
Uh,
my my favorite movie he's in is John Wick because he's the car um
the car, yeah.
yeah, he's the car.
Well, yeah, because remember when the car comes to life and starts killing everybody?
Yeah, that was John Leguizamo. No, he's the guy that hits the mobster's son,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then when he calls
Well,
him
he's
up,
the mechanic.
he's like, I hear you hit my you struck my son, and he's just like, yeah, he stole John Wick's car and killed his dog, and
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
oh
Imagine a John Wick
hangs up.
movie where the car comes back for it's John Wick versus a car. Voiced by John Leguizamo.
Yeah, yes.
Uh,
John Leguizamo is also isn't he Luigi in the live
he
action
sure is. He sure
Super
is.
Mario Bros?
Just Luigi with a gun. Or whatever that movie was. The weird, like, kind of Ghostbusters, but also kind of
Kind of Teenage Mutant Ninja
weird, like
Turtles.
cyberpunk
Yeah, it's a little cyber.
elements.
Yeah, that's a strange
Yeah,
movie.
that's definitely a
But just
movie.
Luigi with a gun, which is also what happens in the Ice Age movies.
That also happened in real life.
It
There was a Luigi with a gun.
there was.
He's actually going on trial, I think.
Uh,
Anyway,
but that's also what happens in the Ice Age movies. The concept is what if you took a saber-toothed tiger and you gave him a
it
gun?
gun.
What would happen?
Well, I'll tell you. Anyways, I'll start my bit. I'll start. I have an article here, from. Oh, I didn't. This sounds like a made up website. I guess they're all made up, right? From Fiction Horizon. I thought this was gonna be like a Screen Rant thing. It seems like a Screen Rant thing. Anyways, I'm just gonna read. This is just to kind of catch us up on kind of just a short, brief history of the lore and the films
Yeah,
itself.
yeah. The
So
expanded universe material.
this is the right way to watch all Ice Age movies in order. Um,
This is
I,
actually going to be useful for me because
mhm.
I think I watched like the first few of them when they came out, but I'm looking at IMDb here and just Google, and I'm
Mhm.
realizing that there's been quite a few
Yeah,
since
a
then.
lot of them straight to DVD or straight to streaming now. I know
Yeah,
they're on Disney Plus now.
Ice Age Collision Course.
Yeah, there's been
That does
several.
not. Yeah, apparently there's a lot of these movies.
Um,
Ice Age 6 is coming out in 2026, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow, that's my most
apparently.
anticipated film.
Ice Age, the Great Escapade,
Escapade, yeah, the
um, from 2016.
Easter. It must have been an Easter tie-in, right?
It does look like an Easter tie-in, yeah.
Anyways, Ice Age, an animated children's film about a group of prehistoric mammals, was released in 2002 by 20th Century Fox and Blue Sky Studios. Film is a critical and commercial success, especially for Blue Sky Studios, launching a series of Ice Age films. Manny and Sid become friends on their trek north. And while guarding the human child, Manny and Sid encounter Diego. This is how the three meet and become good friends while attempting to survive the Ice Age. However, if you've just seen the first Ice Age film or joined the series after the third installment, keeping track of the series might be a bit tricky. More
Yes,
significantly, this feels like an AI thing, but
very
anyways,
significant.
you're probably wondering how many Ice Age movies there are.
I am
Conti-
wondering.
Continue reading as I break down the Ice Age flicks chronologically and deliver the best watch order for the Ice Age movies.
Okay, very good.
Um,
I was wondering what watch order.
well, yeah, it's like you want to know the MCU watch
Yeah,
order or
the
like the
Star
proper Star Wars.
Wars.
Yeah, do
Yeah,
you watch the prequels or the original first, or do you? I've
I
even I've seen some watch orders where it's like, okay, you watch A New Hope, then you go back to the prequels, but then you after Attack of the Clones, you go to Jedi, then you go to
mhm.
Revenge of, like you go back and forth throughout.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, because then you understand the parallels and all that shit. But anyway, anyways, the Ice Age franchise presently consists of 5 animated films that are follow Manny, a cynical woolly mammoth, Sid, a clumsy ground sloth, and Diego, a saber-toothed tiger, as they coexist throughout the Ice Age. Because the Ice Age series has no prequels or jumps, the optimum order to view the Ice Age films is in the order of which they were released. the, fo- the The following is a list of all Ice Age films in chronological sequence of release. Ice Age 2002, Ice Age The Meltdown '06,
This has to be
Ice
AI, right? No
Ice
fucking
Age
way.
Dawn of Dinosaurs 2009, Ice Age Continental Drift 2012, Ice Age Collision Course 2016, and then Ice Age The Adventures of Buck Wild. All right.
Oh,
All right. Do you have anything you want to add to that, to
oh,
the actual conversation?
I just want to.
Perhaps, perhaps you're wondering, and the audience may be willing, is Jackson okay, or is he just really committing to a joke for the entire episode?
So I
Uh,
just asked
yeah, yeah.
ChatGPT
Okay,
to write a short piece about the proper order to watch the Ice Age films.
okay.
It does not go into as much detail, but it gives some options here. It starts with, so it says the Ice Age film series has been a beloved franchise since its debut in 2002, following the adventures of Manny the Mammoth, Sid the Sloth, Diego the Saber-toothed Tiger, and their evolving herd. With multiple spin-offs and sequels, it can be confusing to know the best order to watch the movies. Whether you're a newcomer or revisiting the series, here's the proper way to experience Ice Age.
All right.
It says,
I would assume.
so it's going to break down some stuff for us. It says one,
Okay.
release order versus chronological order. There are
Oh, I
two
thought there
main
wasn't a
ways to
difference.
watch the Ice Age movies. Release order, the way audiences originally experienced them in theaters, or chronological order, the order in which the events happen in the story's timeline. While the difference between the two is minor, Watching chronologically helps maintain seamless narrative. Below we'll break down both viewing orders.
All right, well, let's break it down.
So in release order, it goes Ice Age, 2002. Ice Age The Meltdown, 2006. Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs, 2009. Ice Age Continental Drift, 2012. Ice Age Collision Course, 2016. And Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, 2022. Chronological order.
Okay, I want to see the difference.
Ice Age 2002. Ice Age The Meltdown 2006. Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs
Uh,
2009. Ice Age Continental Drift 2012.
okay.
Ice Age Collision Course 2016.
So it's
And
the
then
same.
Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild 2022.
It's the same order. There's no minor difference. Because there wasn't any thought put into these films. Or maybe that's
But
admirable that they don't have any weird timelines.
This also, it has bonus.
Why didn't the MCU
Ice
release
Age
an actual
short
chronological
films.
order? Why did they do Captain America first and then Captain Marvel and
This goes, but there's more, Jackson. It says bonus.
oh, there's more.
Ice Age short films and specials.
Oh, you
Several
gotta watch
short
some of
films
those
and
first,
TV
I bet.
specials expand the Ice Age universe. Here's how they fit.
Okay.
Gone Nutty, 2002, a short featuring Scrat set before Ice Age.
Oh.
No Time for Nuts, 2006, a time travel adventure starring Scrat, non-canon.
That's when he finds the UFO or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it is non-canon though. It
Oh,
specifies that. Surviving Sid, 2008, follows Sid leading a disastrous camp adventure.
In between, cool.
Scrat's Continental Crack-Up, 2010 and 2011, a two-part short explaining how Scrat triggered the events of Continental Drift.
Wow. So the one squirrel triggered an extinction level event.
Yeah, it seems so. Ice Age, A Mammoth Christmas, 2011, a holiday
Of
special
course.
set between Dawn of the Dinosaurs and Continental Drift. I do have to point out that makes no sense because Jesus had not been born yet.
Well, Mammoth Jesus was
Okay,
born.
fair enough. Ice Age, the Great
Hey, there's
Escapade.
dinosaurs and mammoths existing in the same time frame. I don't think they're too worried about the exact theological birth of Christ.
Then comes Ice Age, the Great Escapade 2016, a springtime
The Easter
TV special set before Collision Course, and then Scrat Tales, a Disney Plus a series featuring Scrat's parenting misadventures.
Who's to say that Ice Age isn't set in the far-flung post-apocalyptic future? That it's kind of like a Horizon Zero Dawn situation.
And they're all robots or something?
Oh, that would be a fun twist. They're just like highly advanced, or they're
AI.
like it's Terminator. They have endoskeletons. That's why we never see there's.
It's what Skynet eventually evolves into after its war with humanity. It just evolves into talking mammoths.
So that's why the
Romano.
characters such as Ice Age Baby are so uncanny and hated because it's really a little T-800 or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways,
that bit went on for much longer than
what bit? So, anyways, Ice Age. Blue Sky Studios' feature picture debut was released in 2002 during a period when animation business was primarily controlled by Disney Pixar's DreamWorks trio, Isn't that still the case?
Still the case, yeah, because Blue Sky is like owned by Disney now or
In
something like
fact,
that.
Pixar is owned by Disney. So
Yeah.
really, it's like Disney, or you get DreamWorks, or you get Sony, which occasionally will do a masterpiece with the Spider-Verse, right?
Hmm.
Um,
And there's Illumination.
Oh God, and they're like the AI. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually use AI in future films, but they are out of all the animation studios, they produce the most slop.
What are you talking about? The Minions movie is a masterpiece.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, anyways, don't get me in that rabbit hole. Um,
And
so I say,
Despicable Me is important because there's not a lot of representation of people from Albuquerque, and the main character is from Albuquerque. So
right, yeah. So if you didn't know, Ice Age follows three Pleistocene era characters: Sid, a sloth; Manny, a woolly mammoth; and Diego, a saber-toothed tiger. As they start
a
on
Smilodon.
a Smilodon, yes,
Yeah.
technically. As they start on a mission to restore a Neanderthal infant to its tried foe. I didn't think it was a Neanderthal.
Maybe that's why it looks kind of uncanny
I
because
guess
Neanderthals would look a lot like us, but not exactly
it would
like
be
us.
wrong. They're just
So
wider in general.
that
Um,
that is not polite.
well, what's the polite way to say that?
Vertically challenged,
Mm,
Jackson.
okay, fair. Uh, Ice Age movie was an instant hit with parents, children, and critics alike, as the film's refreshing humor and revolutionary animation won over even the most hardened, pun intended, hearts.
No.
Scrat, one of the film's characters, would go on to become one of the most recognized. Okay, one of the most recognizable animated characters of the 21st century, as well as Blue Sky's mascot. It was one of the highest grossing animated movies. It doesn't elaborate. The article does. I'm reading verbatim. Uh,
These
actually,
articles never do elaborate.
Ice Age was recently. Well, they elaborated enough to get the SEO right,
Yeah.
but not to actually provide meaningful content. Uh, um, do you have anything to interject with?
Not really.
You may say it's a bit, and I don't know what you have prepared,
Well,
and I think it would be good if you have
so
prepared anything.
so I I
Yes.
was under the impression we would be talking about the actual Ice Age.
Well, there's actually been five.
Because I didn't know, I don't know if you knew this,
There's been
but the
five
Ice Age
significant ice
films
ages throughout the Earth's
are
history.
actually
There's
based
been
off of real events.
Yes, there's been five significant ice ages throughout Earth's history. Okay, okay, and here's the order: Ice Age, Ice Age and Meltdown, Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs, Ice Age. How long am I gonna continue this bit? And Ice Age, Collision Course.
Oh,
Uh, but no, fuck. No, but actually, there has been five major ice ages in the world in prehistory.
yeah.
The Huronian, which was 2.4 to 2.1 billion years ago, the Cryogenian, which was 850 million years ago, the Andean Saharan, 460 to 430 million years ago, Karoo, which was 360 million years ago, and then the Quaternary, which is actually that's the one we're gonna really be
Yeah.
referring to
That's the
here.
one that the movies take place during.
That's the one with the mammoths,
Yeah.
with Sid the sloth, and with Diego, the saber cat.
This is just
Um,
like Lord of the Rings where there's the different
yeah,
eras,
yeah, yeah,
but for the Ice Age franchise.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It has really deep lore,
There is,
very detailed.
yeah. it's almost as if it is based in actual events.
It is.
I guess one will never know.
Well, there's ways to know. We can use
Yeah.
fossil evidence.
Fossil evidence, ice
Um,
core evidence,
yeah. Um,
perhaps.
I don't know if you've ever been to the La Brea Tar Pits.
In
Um,
Los Angeles, I
but
hopefully
I
they're
went
still
there as
there.
a kid several times because I grew up nearby, and uh, and they've got all sorts of Ice Age shit there. They've got
And it's an active tar pit, right?
it's an active tar pit, yeah, and it's also still an active dig site.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, there were a lot of fossils and uh, we've learned a lot about megafauna from that period from the pits because animals get stuck in them, and it's what you actually call it's what's called a predator trap. So we have more predator animals that we've pulled from the pits than prey animals
Oh, well.
because what happens is a prey animal gets stuck in there and then a predator comes along, goes, ooh, free meal, and they
Yep.
get stuck too.
And
And then
then
more
another,
predators keep coming along
yeah,
and go, ooh, a free
scavenger comes
meal,
along.
and they get stuck too. So we have a lot of those.
I'll tell you, I've seen the fossil, well, a rebuilt construction of the fossil of the ground sloth
Oh yeah,
before, and yeah, that must have been terrifying.
that's what Sid
Uh,
was like.
yeah, yeah. He
Hmm.
wasn't a like huge, he was like a small one, but
Well,
actual
keep
ground
keep in
sloths,
mind the movies
like the one I,
may have changed details
yeah,
about the actual
I would think
events.
so,
So,
maybe.
Sid might have been a giant one.
Well, I thought they actually filmed. But anyways, yeah, ground sloths, can be as much as 8 to 9,000 pounds.
That's
And
insane.
the largest, the megatherium, um, it's yeah, I believe I saw a fossil. Maybe not the megatherium, but I saw one at the Smithsonian. It was like this 8 foot, over 8 foot tall, like
Hmm.
monstrosity. Uh, uh,
One of my favorites that I didn't know about this until I
okay.
was reading some stuff about Ice Age stuff. Um, the Irish elk, which is neither Irish nor an elk. Misleading name. It's actually a deer.
And what nationality is it?
Well, just kind of Europe and into Siberia and that area. But it's the largest deer species to ever exist. And they had antlers that were like 11 feet across.
Oh, like Prince or the High King, the Wood Elf. What's his name? Lee Pace's character.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah,
rode
Thranduil. Yeah.
Thranduil, yeah.
Yeah, like that but bigger.
It's
Like
crazy.
they were massive. Um and we think they went extinct just due to climate change mostly. But
Yeah,
I didn't know those existed. We're just talking about animals right
climate
now
change
that were
happens.
cool. I got a list here.
Ooh, I love a list. And then I'll get back to the actual topic. But yeah, let's hear it.
If I can find it, I have a lot of tabs open.
Mm,
Oh,
Alt tab is your friend.
it is. Um, this is from BBC Wildlife,
All right.
and this is 10 Ice Age animals. Like top 10 Ice Age
Top
animals.
10.
Yeah.
Okay, which which-
That are now
what's the best?
extinct. That are
Right,
now
I
extinct.
would assume so.
Shall we start at number one or start at number 10?
All right.
We'll start at number 10. I'm going to scroll all the way down there. Number 10, uh,
Ice Age,
the
baby.
the Diprotodon. It's the largest marsupial to ever live. Uh, was about 4 meters long, about 3,500 kilograms is how much it weighed. But their closest living relatives are like koalas
Okay.
and wombats. So it's just like a giant wombat.
Jeez.
Um,
That could be scary.
Number 9 is the Megalania, which is a one of the largest lizards to ever live. They were 7 meters in length. It was a monitor lizard.
Okay, so and that was during
This is
I
all
or
Ice Age era creatures.
okay.
Yeah.
So you think that it couldn't that it wouldn't get that large considering it's cold-blooded.
Well, I
Unless
mean,
that's one of the warm-blooded ones.
it might have lived
One
not in the northern parts of the world. It
Yeah,
would
yeah,
have
right.
maybe
Not
lived near
everywhere
the
was.
equator.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, it lived in Australia.
Okay.
Of course it did. But they're related to Komodo dragons,
Okay.
but they were like could swallow a human
I
sized.
mean, Komodo dragons swallow a small human
Yeah.
child,
Uh, this
perhaps.
this is small. Swallow a regular human.
Right. Well, and I know Komodo dragons will like just spit at you.
They're just rude like that.
Yeah, well, the,
Well, isn't
it-
it their saliva like not
it's like
venomous but
toxic.
like
Or
toxic?
no,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's so high and like it doesn't harm them, but it's so high in bacteria, I think.
Yeah. Like you get
Um,
bit by one of them, it's
I
like
got
guaranteed to get you're like an infection.
oh yeah, you need
Yeah.
high dose. Let's see, Komodo dragon. I don't think it's venom, but let's see what this says. Bacteria or venom. Komodo dragons may have evolved venom glands that help them bleed out their prey, but they are not infected with deadly bacteria. Learn how science. Oh, so it's just a myth.
No,
Okay, just send me down a rabbit hole.
we're just
Bacteria venom, the surprising secret behind the Komodo dragon's deadly bite. Um, okay, there's some preamble here. Okay, the use of weaponized bacteria seems like an incredible and unique hunting strategy, and it would be, except the scenario above isn't at all how Komodo dragon bites work. Um, Komodo dragons have gained a well-deserved reputation as effective and brutal predators, terrorizing everything from monkeys to livestock on their small Indonesian island homes. Part of that reputation includes a mouth allegedly teeming with pathogenic bacteria, with which the dragons infect large, hard-to-conquer prey via kind of a nibble of death. In reality, dragon mouths are completely free of this microscopic bite booster, and
oh,
research in recent years have revealed that giant lizards may use in bacteria's place venom. Oh, okay.
oh.
So it's just venom. Um, let's just cut to the chase here. Okay, the venom debate. The bacterial bite idea persisted for decades and was bolstered by research that identified bacteria in Komodo dragon mouths thought to be potentially pathogenic. But in 2013, University of Queensland researcher Brian Fry and his colleagues put the idea to rest. They analyzed bacterial samples from dragon mouths and failed to find any species of mouth flora that differed substantially from those found in other carnivores. They also determined the bacteria identified in previous work were mostly common, harmless species, and that single, supposedly uh, septismic variety wasn't showing up in dragon mouths. In the end, the bacteria in dragon mouths is pretty close to what's living in and on, and recent meals are in the reptile's environment. Um, so otherwise, it is. Venom?
It
I'm
didn't
trying to
really answer
find.
that.
No.
Um, I mean, I always assumed that a Komodo dragon doesn't really need that to kill something.
I
They're
think it's.
pretty
Oh no,
fucking
they
big
did. Okay,
anyway.
they found physical evidence of venom glands in Komodo dragon jaws, and the glands produce proteins that likely cause massive plunges in blood pressure and
Mm,
bitten victims. But I also feel like it's just a result of somebody has been bitten by one in the past, and then it got infected, just like any other wound would
yeah,
get infected if left untreated for a certain period of time.
yeah. Like you get bit by a
And
Komodo dragon,
also,
its saliva might not get you, but you know what might? Tetanus.
yeah,
That
yeah.
might get you. Which I
Anyways,
don't know what's worse, being killed by a Komodo dragon or eaten alive by one or getting tetanus.
I had my tetanus shot
I do too.
not
I'm up
long
to date on
ago.
my tetanus shot.
Good.
Tetanus is scary. Uh, Number eight,
Everybody get up to date on your shots.
the giant beaver, Castoroidus genus. Um, these were these were giant beavers that
Yeah.
averaged about 1.8
Can you send me the
meters.
link to this?
Oh, sure, yeah,
And I actually have a link to send you because, of course, for one of these episodes, we're gonna do a quiz.
of course.
I tried to
There
find
you
in that
go. There
Geo.
you go. I did too.
Did you find one or
No, I did. I wasn't able to find one. Yeah, but so this giant beaver, I read up a little bit on these guys earlier. They were more well adapted than modern beavers for running on land, and they had bites that theoretically could like bite through your leg bone if they wanted to. But this here
they could
says,
bite through wood and then,
well, yeah, but I mean, like compared to like a modern beaver, couldn't it just bite
Mhm,
straight through your leg bone in one
right.
go? These guys potentially could. But also, this says they had smaller, smoother brains than modern beavers, which indicates they maybe had less complex social behaviors. So maybe they're stronger, but they ain't as smart.
Wyona had a big brown beaver.
That's what I've heard. Uh,
Uh, yeah, she stroked it all the time. Um,
Number seven is the Irish elk. I already talked about.
Primus sucks. I was listening to some Primus. I got one of their albums, Sailing the Seas of Cheese.
Nice.
Yeah, check that one out. Anyways,
Um, Irish elk is number seven. I already talked about them. They are neither Irish nor elk.
why are they named? Why is it named that
I
then?
think
Is
because
there
like
any ex?
the first fossils of them were found in Ireland,
Oh,
but they're not like most
well,
commonly.
who's to say?
Well, it's I think my understanding is most of the fossils these days are not found in Ireland. They just
Well,
that's
and
where
with
they
the
were first.
continental drift,
Where they were first found.
with all the Ice Age continental drift 2012, certain fossils found in certain locations may have been in an entirely different area to begin with.
Number six, and this is controversial that it's only at number six here. Is
Oh,
the Smilodon.
yes.
This says the La Brea tar pits have been responsible for giving us insights on another Ice Age predator, the saber-toothed cat. More than 3,000 fossilized individuals have been pulled from the pits, and their teeth in particular have been a valuable source of information about their diets and lifestyle. They were also massive. Um,
Oh,
or
yeah.
at least the most well known. There's a few different subspecies of Smilodons, but the most well known species were just. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, look at those teeth, man. There's no wonder you would call them, people would call them the saber tooth. They're also Colton has left the building, but they are also commonly found, and I must say, uh, hey Colton,
Sorry, fire
I
alarm going
just
off.
oh cooking or
just
random? Or is there a fire? If
No,
there's a
just
fire, I would advise that you stop recording.
just
Or you
cooking.
just go through it. But the Smilodon and also woolly mammoth are
Mhm.
the woolly mammoth. I misspoke. I'm not speaking of man-eating mammoth. But they're found in Skyrim.
They are.
I can connect it to Skyrim again
They
because
are.
I always will
And
whenever
and
I have a
and
chance.
the saber-toothed cats in Skyrim always manage to sneak
They
up on me.
fuck you up. No,
And I swear there's no enemy in Sky.
what?
They're not like the hardest to kill, but there's no
Well,
enemy in
I'll tell you.
Skyrim that makes me go, Jesus fucking Christ. More.
Well, I'll tell you though, whatever mod I have installed on my list, add some like unique saber cats out there
Ah.
and like larger ones and like different colors mean different things, different levels, and they will tear you apart. Okay.
Mm, yeah.
Um, and the giants befriend the mammoths.
They herd them, I
They
think,
herd them, yeah,
and get their cheese.
yeah. Mammoth cheese.
Mammoth cheese.
Uh, going back to actual mammoths, um, I'm sure you've heard about this, listeners and cult and otherwise, that there's actually been some work done. I mean, it's more of an ethical question of should we than can we on well, there's not going to be an exact clone of a mammoth.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be a
They
genetically
they made the meatball.
altered a genetically altered elephant that has some mammoth DNA that they have extrapolated, and whatever we end up seeing in the near future, supposedly, isn't going to be an exact mammoth.
Yeah. It's gonna be
But
like
I don't
Jurassic Park.
care.
It's gonna be some
Yeah,
freaking nature.
they had to throw something else in there to make it work. They
Frog
put some
DNA.
yeah. They did frog DNA with the dinosaurs.
No, I
Maybe
think
with the
that's what they're gonna
mammoth,
do with the mammoth.
they'll throw some
Just
just
frog DNA.
yeah, just throw whatever at it to
And when
get
you ask
something.
them why, they're gonna be like, I mean,
They did it in Jurassic
they did it in
Park.
Jurassic Park. It seemed to work there.
No, but scientists are reincarnating the woolly mammoth to return in 4 years. And
Yeah.
this was posted a year ago by Tim Newcomb on Popular Mechanics. The long dead woolly mammoth will make its return from extinction by 2027, says Colossal, the biotech company actively working to reincarnate the beast.
Yeah.
Last year, the Dallas-based firm scored an additional 60 million in funding to continue the mammoth gene editing work it started in 2021. If successful, yeah, it's gene editing, right?
Yeah.
If successful, not only will Colossal bring back an extinct species, one the company dubs a cold-resistant elephant. Yeah, that's a good way to put it to describe a
Cold-resistant
mammoth.
elephant.
Yeah, cold.
They
Yeah, it's
were
the cold
they were
variant.
about the size of modern day
African
African
elephants. Yeah, they weren't like it's not like Lord of the Rings elephants where they were
Yeah.
like
They were
that's a misconception.
they were about the size of modern
maybe roughly
African
bigger,
bush
or maybe they
elephants.
looked bigger just because of the fur.
Yeah,
You
they
know?
had longer tusks that
Yeah.
were curved up, and we believe that rather than modern
Combat.
elephants that can stab with
Yeah,
their
yeah.
tusks, that mammoths
can
would hit
like sweep away and hit. Yeah,
and
yeah,
we,
yeah.
And we know from fossil evidence of that it was bone crushing.
Oh yeah, just
If
one
you,
hit, you're dead. You're done.
if
Your
one of these
bones.
mammoths hit you with its tusk, you would die.
Imagine what kind of absolute mad lad you would have to be to go, hey, get you and your mates, craft some makeshift
Some
pointy sticks, some
pointy
spears,
sticks.
and go, let's go kill that mammoth over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Mad
we
lads.
very nearly hunted them to extinction. Like
Yeah,
once we figured out spears, and later on, I don't know, bows and arrows. I think mostly just the advent of spears and just like a fuck ton of guys.
Yeah,
Just
pack
overwhelming
hunting.
the creatures. Yeah, just pack hunting.
Endurance
Um,
too was a big thing with humans.
Well, yeah,
as
that's one of the
hunters.
things humanity has always
We
bested
we
creatures.
can
We have low
not only
speed
can we
but high
gang up on you,
endurance.
but we can gang up on you for long periods of time.
Yeah. A deer can outrun anybody, but we can outpace their endurance
Yeah.
when hunting. Um, but
I've told people that here in town, where I live, they'll talk about hunting, and I've heard some people have the conversation of like crossbows versus using a gun versus one person was even like, hey, crossbows is cheating, you got to use a bow. And I'm standing there and be like, none of you can talk until you've gone out with a spear.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You and your mates with some
Go
pointy
hunt,
sticks.
go
Yeah.
strip down to your underwear, go out with a spear.
Yeah, just on a loincloth
A
and
loincloth, and go hunt some shit, and then come back to me and I'll be like, you, sir, are the best hunter.
yeah. Anyways, so cold resistant elephant, but it will also reintroduce the woolly mammoth to the same ecosystem which it wants to live in effort to fight climate change. I don't know if it's going to help fight climate change by just introducing a past extinct species back into the tundra and North Arctic, where it's diminishing to begin with. Well, you're going to throw them in Greenland or something. I mean, that would be cool though. Like, imagine if you could go to like a mammoth uh, conservatory,
Yeah,
like in the
that would be
tundra, like,
that would be wild.
and just go see them roaming around, like the new genetically altered mammoths we created, and
Yeah,
just let them exist.
do your
The
do,
only
do
problem
your
is,
best, do your best Jeff Goldblum
yeah,
impersonation.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, the Kazakhs, statistics, the chaos theory.
Yeah,
Jeff Goldblum.
life,
A little, um, the water shaking in the truck or in the Jeep. Do that.
Yep.
Make a park out of it. No, but the only issue is not even the issue is, imagine bringing back the mammoth or a proximity of the mammoth, but then it just dies off again. I
Got
mean,
extinct twice.
right. I mean, I doubt that would happen because it would be in a controlled environment.
I mean,
Uh,
but
but
maybe they don't do
without
like
any predators or
we
I
don't know how
mean,
to take care of a mammoth.
well, no, you just lit them off and just like kind of herd them out into the tundra, uh, with little to no predators. I mean, there's not a lot of,
Yeah, but they have to have stuff to.
well, like even a modern day pack of wolves. I mean, it's probably not going to fare well, um, compared to their dire wolf counterparts.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and even then, it's not like there's going to be. Imagine it gets to the point in the future we have rich, pretentious assholes with nothing better to do, and they go game hunting for a mammoth that we have created and brought back into this world, just to inevitably be turned into a carpet.
Oh my God.
Imagine that.
Just turned into a carpet. But yeah.
Fucking hate humanity. Anyways,
Hey,
Colossal calls the woolly mammoth's vast migration patterns an active part of preserving the health of the Arctic. And so bringing the animal back to life can have a beneficial impact on the health of the world's ecosystem. How can you say that? Anyways, while Colossal originally hoped to reintroduce the woolly mammoth into Siberia, okay, that makes sense. The company may explore other options based on the current political framework of the world. Yeah, uh, all the war going on. Um, do you really you want to pop a mammoth into a war-torn area? I mean, I don't know, man. Unless you equip them,
equip them.
You weaponize them.
Yeah, put some
Like
armor.
put minigun, strap some armor, miniguns, rocket launcher.
Send them down into Ukraine and see what happens.
Yeah, give the Ukrainians,
Some mammoths.
give Zelensky a herd of mammoths.
Some war mammoths.
War mammoths armed to the teeth, with American artillery.
I can imagine if there's a situation
like
where
drop them in, and like you see the Russian troops like see in the distance like these large objects. And it's basically just the scene of Return of the King and um yeah.
Except Putin doesn't have no Legolas to take them down.
No, he
He
sure
does
don't.
have guns and missiles, though.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
yeah, I don't know how ethical it would be, but it would be a sight to behold. So the
that's
woolly, so okay,
yeah.
so the woolly mammoth's DNA is 99.6% match of the Asian elephant,
Um,
which leads Colossal to believe it's well on its way to achieving its goal. I mean, basically, an
well,
Asian elephant
didn't
with some bigger tusk and fur.
didn't they like clone some mammoth meat or something like
I
that?
think so.
They
That
made
was
a
like the first test.
they made like a big
That's kind of
meatball.
fucked. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, you
it's
don't
very
even bring the thing
unsettling.
back to life. You just bring its meat
It's
back.
really
Like you want
unsettling to
some
me.
mammoth carnitas,
Oh,
uh,
but
some mammoth tacos. I
anyway,
mean, I'm not gonna lie, I would try it.
let's get back to this
But no,
list where
this is
where
on topic.
uh, well
This is what do you mean?
we'll roll back to the
Well,
mammoth.
I just wanted to just let
Yeah.
me finish this real quick,
Okay.
because I'm interested. Okay, this quote from one of the leads of Colossal. In the minds of many, this creature is gone forever, the company says, but not in the minds of our scientists, nor the labs of our company. We're already in the process of the de-extinction of the woolly mammoth. Our teams of collected viable DNA samples are in editing the genes that will allow this wonderful megafauna to once again thunder through the Arctic. Through gene editing, colossal scientists will eventually create an embryo of a woolly mammoth. They will place the embryo in an African elephant to take advantage of its size. Okay, so even though it's closer to Asian elephant, they still want it to be big. So we're gonna impregnate essentially an African elephant with this thing. Um, the eventual goal is
Mm.
repopulate parts of the Arctic with the new woolly mammoth and apparently strengthen local plant life with the migration patterns and dietary habits of the beasts. But what if they end up just being a fucked up, like they all come out deformed, or like it's just sad existence?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I mean,
I think that the research and the technology is really cool,
it's
but
there, but the
the actual
ethics
doing it is very
kind of playing.
ethically kind of I don't know. I
You're
don't know
trying to
about
play
it.
God here or whatever. I
For
mean,
me it's not
if
a playing God, but it's like what you said. It's like is it ethical to take this animal that's not adapted to our climate and just have it
well,
living
I
now?
mean,
Is it ethical
you still
to
have areas that are equivalent,
like is it ethical to do that to an elephant?
right? But
To
however,
the
I'm
mother
interested to
elephant?
see
Is
like
it
maybe their
what if
herding
it
could
comes
help,
out like deformed and it's just a
right?
miserable is
Well, I'm
that like
sure some of them. I'm sure
so
the first
for
few
me
batches.
it's not the playing God
I'm sure the
part
first
that
few batches
is
did, and they just like put them in an incinerator like in
yeah.
Guardians 3 or whatever.
Jesus.
But it would be interesting to see like the actual the ecosystem effects, like on the actual topography of the tundra of Siberia or etc. The tundra. Like
Yeah.
I wonder, like they're grazing. Yeah, maybe that could be beneficial to an extent.
I don't
And I
know.
think it's mostly just because we think it's cool and we want to bring
That's
them
exactly
back.
why we're
I
doing it.
mean,
That's there's no other reason. Um
uh, hey, but I'm not gonna lie though. If it happens or when it happens, I'll be excited to see it.
I would
And
love to
like if
see
they have,
one.
I would love to
It
imagine
it would
that. I
be
mean,
it would be amazing.
but it's like okay, if you successfully basically bring back the mammoth, even if it's not identical, but the closest approximation to with genetics, um, what's stopping you from bringing back any other extinct species? Or
But
even recently extinct species?
yeah, I mean
But Darwin's, survival of the fittest, maybe there's a good reason they went extinct. And if you just bring them back arbitrarily to a completely different era,
yeah, just
even if you put them in
no.
a similar environment and everything, imagine the butterfly effect that something like that could have on
Oh
the
my God. Yeah,
ecosystem, for
that's
better or for worse. I'm not saying it would always go bad.
but
maybe there's some things that would be good to bring back.
yeah,
But there's other things. Like I rather Jurassic Park not happen. As cool as it would be. We've seen the movie.
there's a whole series of movies
Yeah,
that
exactly.
are
On why
dedicated to
not to do
explaining
it.
why it's a bad idea. Uh,
And, like imagine bringing back the Smilodon.
yeah,
It's like, okay, we bring mammoths. Okay, they're overpopulated now. What are we gonna do? Well,
bring
let's
back.
bring back a predator of that era
That's yeah.
to help with the
Just
overpopulation of the mammoth that we brought back a few years back. Now they're overtaking
just
the region.
great idea. Yeah.
Or I maybe you could just launch a couple drone strikes to quell the
Just,
population.
just, just kill them. Yeah. Not as
Anyway.
easy as it sounds, I guess. There's been species that we have actively tried to
Hmm.
eradicate before,
Yeah.
to sometimes to success, but sometimes throughout our history we've actively tried to eradicate coyotes, and it's
Oh, they're
been
so fucking
nowhere
loaded.
close to
I saw like
successful.
5 in the city.
Yeah,
Like
they're fucking. In fact,
in
they're actually
Phoenix.
more widespread now than they were
And they were big
when
ones. I'm sure they'd be eating like dogs and
yeah,
cats
they
too.
are actually more widespread now than they were when European settlers started moving west into their
Right.
territory.
Well, yeah, because they'll
Um,
scrounge around in the garbage and
yeah.
whatever.
Back to this list
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
got. You just
yeah.
mentioned it. Number 6, the Smilodon. They were apparently really big, and
Like
we
how
don't
big are we
have
talking?
like larger than a Bengal tiger.
Fair enough.
Um, yeah, like bigger than anything that's currently alive as far as a cat goes. These smaller species, earlier species of them were maybe more along the size of like a lion. Um, and we do have evidence of those older, smaller species killing Homo erectus. And we think that likely Smilodons did probably kill people.
Oh,
Um,
fuck yeah.
but they weren't the only big cats out there. There was also like cave lions, which are about the size of like a Bengal tiger, modern day. And then there were also the European leopard, I think it is,
Hmm.
which were like the size of a African lion.
Like a mountain cat. Like I mean a mountain lion, but just bigger, or was it
Well, like a they were like leopards.
leopard? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we don't have evidence exactly that they were interacting with people, but from we know they were widespread enough in Europe, and just from modern day behavior of leopards, we know that they probably did were a nuisance. Um, but yeah, Smilodon is like the king of the cats. They are not closely related to any modern cats, though. They were their own family
Just
tree.
one bite or claw swipe from one of those fuckers and you're done.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The
Well,
teeth,
I
the
I
teeth
I
alone.
watched a video earlier
Nice.
about them, and they were like the ankle bone on them and
Yeah.
how thick their bones generally were, and makes us believe that they were very, very muscular, probably more so than
Oh
any
yeah.
modern large cat. And their ankle bone specifically implies that they had tendons and muscles in their ankle and could probably jump really, really, really high.
Yeah.
So they would have been frightening.
Yeah,
Number
that's
five,
terrifying.
we'll rock through some of these. Number
Yeah.
five, dire wolves,
Big Wolf.
big wolf. That's
Not
all
just
there. That's all
Game
there
of
is to
Thrones.
it. They're just big
Uh,
wolves.
no, but the direwolf is one of my favorites. Simply, well, honestly, for what we just said,
Because they're
simply for
big
the
wolf,
fact it's just a big ass wolf
big wolf.
that was a terror in the
Yeah,
tundra countryside.
yeah. They were
Uh,
massive. They are not the largest canines in all of history. I don't remember what the largest ones are,
mhm,
but they were just like modern gray wolves. They would have been pack hunters.
mhm,
Um, but I guess, if you look at canines throughout history, there is a tendency for them to become smaller and smaller as different species go extinct and
mhm.
new ones come around. But dire wolves, big wolves.
Well, yeah, you start min-maxing your stats, you
Yeah.
know.
Go watch
You put
Tier Zoo has
hmm
a good video on like Ice Age mammals
Oh,
and
yeah, I think he
megafauna.
did one. I think he did one on like the saber tooth, like how they would fare
Yeah.
against a velociraptor, you know, fun
He's
things
done
like
like
that.
all the ones on the specific one, but he also just has a tier list of Ice
hmm
Age megafauna.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
I
he's
love this
I
video.
remember him
Yeah.
being like, yeah, you know, direwolf, solid B tier. Like they're not an S tier or anything like that, but like big wolf.
Yeah.
Um, Number four, cave bears. They lived in Europe. They were big bears, not actually bigger than like modern bears exactly, but they
Like
were.
about as big as a polar bear. So still fucking big.
Well, yeah, yeah. I think I was
I
like
mean,
some of them were maybe the size of like a Kodiak bear.
yeah.
Could be that big. Um, there's also during the Ice Age, we have plenty of evidence that polar bears did live much further south than they do now, and they were likely some of them could have been bigger than modern polar bears.
Yeah, that's big
Um,
enough for me.
Number three, the giant ground sloth.
Well, you know, they say a polar bear, um, black bear, you can potentially scare off if you
Hmm.
stand your ground. Um,
Yeah, make a bunch of
don't turn your back,
noise.
stand your back, stand your ground, make a bunch of noise.
Yeah,
Brown bear, a lot less likely, but there's still a slim chance. Polar bear,
yeah,
you're already their lunch,
yeah. Brown bears are like
regardless of what
you're
you
not
do.
going to scare off a brown bear probably, but they're not out to get you.
Yeah, 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 exactly. So
Polar
it really,
bears
it's up
are
to the
out to get
brown.
you.
It's up to
They
like the grizzly is actually that might be a different.
depends on the I learned I was
Yeah,
told because I was up in Alaska this last summer for a week and I
yeah,
learned
that must have been a great trip.
it was yeah. I
Yeah,
learned
cruise,
that
right?
there are inland brown bears and there's coastal brown bears and they're
Mm-hmm.
technically the same species, but they different names. So like I think
Well, their behavior would be
grizzlies are considered like inland ones, and
inland.
then but they're technically the same species, but they have different behavior
Mm-hmm.
because the
They have different needs.
the more food that bears generally have access to, the more social they're likely to be, and the more
Yeah, and the
social
least
they are,
likely they're gonna
the less
be
aggressive
to.
they are.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Number three is the giant
But
ground sloth.
polar bear, it don't fucking matter.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
always, every time I see a polar bear, it's like standing on like one tiny piece of ice in the Arctic, and it's like, oh, the polar bear is searching for its meal, and like there's nothing
yeah.
that, but
They want to kill you.
yeah, like, they just yeah, I would yeah, they want to kill
Yeah.
everything.
Um,
Um,
uh,
rightfully so.
Giant ground sloths, you already mentioned them. They were huge.
Yeah, and we think of sloths today, you know, just chilling in the tree. They'll take like an hour to climb to the next branch, you
Yeah.
know, to climb up a tree. But a ground sloth, um, again, more kind of maybe not as quite as well,
This says they weren't predators. Like they
but they could
were
sure as hell defend
they were
themselves.
herbivores, but you wouldn't
Yeah,
fuck with one. I
no.
mean, those claws could take you out.
Oh yeah.
Number two, the woolly mammoth.
Of course.
It's the classic. It's Ray Romano.
Whatever you about. Yeah, Ray Romano's Manny the Mammoth. The
Yeah,
Mammoth.
the mammoth.
Um,
Uh, and then number one, can you guess what it is?
well, I'm reading the article, but oh,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, yeah. It's Homo neanderthalis.
Well, I
There,
feel like some Neanderthals DNA has like persisted.
I remember.
Some people I run into,
Well, in all seriousness, I remember I took an anthropology class, and I remember the professor saying
well, they would just fuck, right? I mean, just
it's something like a huge number of humans. Like pretty much if you have any European ancestry, you have like 2% of your DNA is Neanderthal
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, yeah, we likely did kill some of them,
Mm-hmm.
but we also the reason why they probably went extinct is probably a combination of we were more populous and we just also outfucked them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
We
that's
would fuck them too, and then
yeah,
you get the cross breeds, the
yeah. Like
hybrids,
we
and that's
just yeah, we just were there were more of us.
yeah.
So eventually they weren't around anymore because they we did interact with them in different ways.
Um, was it true? Was there much of an actual intelligence difference?
I don't know. I've seen
I
some
mean, I've
stuff
heard
about
things
like
that we edge them, like edge them out on intelligence,
I
but
don't
I think
know.
it's more just due to,
I don't know. I know that I've seen some stuff about like there's evidence that they had like they buried their dead and that
hmm
they had some form of like arts.
yeah,
Like
they've had ritual,
they created stuff, they had
um,
rituals. So they were obviously
not
intelligent.
civilizations, but they had like early
Yeah.
primeval rituals,
And
perhaps even religion to
if
an
someone's to
extent.
say like, oh, well, they didn't have civilization, it's like neither did we back then.
Yeah, they used tools, they
Like
made fire just like us. I mean, really,
I
yeah, there's
mean,
no real evidence that Neanderthals were any less intelligent than Homo sapiens.
yeah.
This is from Ask Anthropology on Reddit. Um, take a look at this is from Seven League Boots 2 years ago. Take a look at Kindred, Neanderthal Life, Love and Death and Art by Rebecca Range Sykes. This is a good comprehensive place to start. She compiles that the current, as of a couple years ago now, state of knowledge and lays it out clearly and well. The upshot is that no, there is no real evidence to indicate that Neanderthals were any less intelligent than Homo sapiens. They appear to have been at least our intellectual equals. Their societies and evolutionary growth differed a bit. That's the main difference, and it's even that's not such a big thing.
Hmm.
Her list of references that went into the book is immense and is not printed in the book due to space constraints. It's a 61-page list. She has a full set of references available on her site in Google Docs. Okay. Um, I'll have to check that book out actually.
Yeah.
Um, my ringtone. Ah, okay.
Well,
Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a misconception that they were like the more brutish, like dull, kind of
more
homo.
caveman like, you know.
Yeah, your image of a caveman is
Yeah.
more often going to be a Neanderthal um, type figure rather than like
I mean, I feel like a lot of people also, and maybe this is changing a little bit through just information being spread better, but I remember growing up, and I feel like there was a lot of people who were under the assumption that we evolved from them, not we evolved in tandem with them, which is really we evolved in tandem with them. We coexisted with them, but I feel like a lot of like people out there have this idea that like
no,
that
it
we
was in tandem, not
yeah,
from.
you know.
Yeah,
So there's I think people out there who have this assumption that like we're the more evolved species, and it's like no.
imagine a world where Neanderthal. Well, you could imagine a whole world where what if Neanderthals became the dominant race and how that would look,
Yeah.
etc. But imagine one where we just coexist
Yeah.
and we literally are coexisting with a different intelligent species. Um, that has its own customs and
I mean,
civilizations.
considering we can barely
Um,
coexist with each other.
we can barely coexist with each other just due to different geographical, cultural, ethnic, and religious boundaries. Um, Imagine throwing on top of all that, they're a different species.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably wouldn't go well.
probably want to go well, and it didn't go well, apparently. Well, like you said, we probably just outfucked them. Humans are known for being horn dogs, right?
Oh yeah.
Um, and also, yeah, Neanderthals were a bit broader and grew up to about 5 foot 5 and average. Women 5 foot tall. Pretty much on track with pre-industrial Europeans, humans. People were shorter in the past in general, on average.
Yeah.
And due to, many different factors, quality of life, GMOs, all that stuff, people have begun to get bigger, right? Um, so they weren't even like, there wasn't much of a difference even there.
Yeah.
They just kind of looked uncanny
Yeah.
and
They
just
just
wider.
little stockier is all.
Yeah, stockier, wider faces. Uh, every time I see like a CGI or like a rendering of like a Neanderthal, it is always a bit uncanny
Yeah.
because it's like it's human, but not quite right, you know?
Yeah. Well,
I
but it is true.
I
They're not
mean,
they're not quite human,
yeah.
but they're very close. But
hmm
yeah.
Um, well, anyways, I can continue on my actual
Yeah.
I can continue on the important stuff here. So going back to Ice Age, the film franchise. Uh so 20,000 years ago, a group of humans okay, it says humans here, not it doesn't specify. But a group of humans departs camp on the eve of the Ice Age to join an unending convoy of archaic creatures traveling south. Before traveling north to their town in the mountains, a tribe of people camp by a waterfall, including their chieftain Runar, his wife Nadia, and their young son Roshan. Soto, the leader of a group of saber-toothed tigers, keeps an eye on the humans alongside his trusty subordinate, Diego, a cat. Soto, wanting vengeance against humans for killing out half of his pack. Oh, they Thanosed him.
Oh,
Prepares to consume Renar's son, Roshan, the following morning. The attack occurs with Diego chasing Nadia. However, she escapes with Roshan jumping. Is that the Ice Age baby? Is that its name?
Roshan?
Roshan?
I don't know.
The pack arranges me at a happy where Diego would produce the kid for so I can't believe this is an actual article. Anyways, Manny and Sid continue their trek. Manny irritated by the sloth's continuous shattering because they did the Shrek, you know, main character annoying sidekick thing.
Yeah.
Um, until they come upon Nadia on the riverbank, severely weakened by her jump over the rapids, barely able to transfer her kid to Manny before she vanishes. Manny departs, but Sid plans to return the infant to his herd, an endeavor that Manny will not assist with. Okay. Boring myself just reading this. Um, no, I love it. Uh, Ice Age 2, Meltdown. Oh, yeah. Anyways, however, an unprotected child is left behind after a surprise attack at the ridge. The saber-tooth tigers, following the sad incident, Manny, the gigantic shaggy mammoth, Sid, the sloth-like outcast, and Diego, the cunning primeval tigers, start on a dangerous expedition to locate the baby's parents. Unaware that danger is closer than they believe, can the unlikely rescuers locate the human family before the planet is completely covered by massive glaciers. I never had the impression that the first Age film was on the brink of the eve of the actual Ice Age. I thought it was just in the middle of the Ice Age.
Yeah, because
Like,
isn't like
what do you mean by that? Anyways,
isn't like the plot of like the
geologically,
second movie that the ice age is
no, but
melting?
like geologically, it's not. Oh, all of a sudden it's the ice age.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
No, it's a slow, tedious, gradual event that happens over thousands, if not millions of years. It's not just like suddenly
One day
the ice age happened.
on a Tuesday.
Um,
Hmm. Uh,
Continuing, Ice Age: The Meltdown, down 2006. Uh, while Manny, Sid, and Diego did return for the second appearance in 2006's Ice Age: The Meltdown, they were joined this time by an extended cast of supporting characters, including Ellie, Crash, and Eddie, all of whom would feature in subsequent iterations of the franchise. The film follows the aforementioned characters as they struggle to live when extensive flooding reduces their access to ice terrain. God, this is overly wordy. It literally, no joke.
so the
Mm,
first movie, one of the plot points is that the ice age is starting,
yeah,
and the second movie, one of the plot points is that all the ice is melting.
yeah,
So just winter?
yeah. Just winter.
Just like
Well, and then they have then they have the dinosaur one, like because they ran out of ideas.
yeah.
And then they have Continental Drift, where yes, they fight a monkey pirate. They fight a pirate crew.
Nice. Yeah.
Um, and then you have Collision Course, where yeah, these are not good. I can't keep the
I
bit going on anymore, even though the
let's
episode's
just
about over
yeah,
anyways. But
let's get
I
onto this quiz.
I can't wholeheartedly continue through this bit because I am boring myself reading this article. Uh,
Let's get onto this quiz here
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
we can
Let's do
call it.
this quiz and then we. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So from Play Buzz, I think it's a subsidiary of BuzzFeed. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think this comes from the Idaho Museum of Natural History,
Ah, nice.
or somebody in that made it. There's zero comments. Anyways, which Idaho, Idaho, no, Idaho.
No.
Which I mean, it's kind of like the Ice Age up there, right? This time of year.
Which
Which Idaho Ice Age animal are you?
yeah, okay.
And then I got an ad. I got an ad that scrolled me down and it says, "What flavor of fuck sickle are you?" Watermelon wink job? Oh shit. Orange blast and blueberry bitch are just the few flavors you'll find in the swear word coloring book. It's a
What?
coloring book. Fuck sickles. If you were a fuck sickle, what flavor you would be?
I'm very confused.
It that's an ad I got trying to do this quiz
All right. I'm on
to
question
clarify.
number one here.
Okay. What is your favorite food? And we have three options here. Meat. All food is good food. Salads. So
You
basically,
know,
it's asking if
I'm
everybody
tempted to
herbivore,
choose
carnivore, or
all food is good food. However, I really don't like Brussels sprouts, and it does say all food is
yeah.
good food. So I just can't get behind that. So
I'll try anything.
I'm gonna go with meat.
I'll go with all good. All food's good food. Uh, what do you do for fun? And it's got the South Park, World of Warcraft, PC gamer. Binge on Netflix and video games. I mean, you can annex you can cross out Netflix there. Exercise. Does anyone really do that for fun? I guess some people.
Some
Hang
people
with
do.
friends
Or hit the
or hit
beach.
the beach.
Video
Uh,
games.
yeah, can't really. This is lame though. You only got three options. Not a lot of effort. And five questions. How would you describe your looks? Really, really ridiculously good looking. Nah.
You
Who
gotta
says looks are?
you gotta do it like the Derek Zoolander because that's Derek Zoolander.
Is that
That's a Derek. Yeah, he
is
goes.
that a
He's
quote?
there's sometimes there's more to life than being really really ridiculously good looking.
That's great. Um,
I'm
who says looks are important?
I think I'm really really ridiculously good looking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you. Um, average, I guess. Are you fast? Maybe a little fast, super fast. Ha, you think I might run someplace?
Yeah.
Pretty normal speed over here. I don't know.
I don't run.
Um, normal. How social are you? It's fun to be social sometimes. Oh, I got something. I almost forgot to tell you about it. I
Mm.
went to the mall earlier today, day off shopping.
Hmm.
I just got bonus, everything. I was like, oh, and get some work clothes. Maybe grab something fun. But I went to a mall on a Wednesday in the afternoon, a relatively large mall, and there was people. I mean, but it was enough where it felt like everyone was looking, like all eyes are on you.
Yeah.
Like you're just there, and like there's large empty space. Then you'll have some people, group of people or whatever. But just walking in a largely vacant mall.
Yeah.
Well, walking in an empty mall, that would give liminal space vibes, like if the music's still playing and whatever.
Like the Durango
Um,
Mall
yeah, oh
when
yeah,
you go past where
that's always
the
largely an
TJ
empty
Maxx,
mall.
other than where the TJ Maxx is, the
Yeah,
other half of the mall is like completely closed down.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know, but yeah. What was I gonna get to with that? Oh yeah, I was walking around, and and it's just like, oh, when you like run, it's like when you walk down the hallway and walk by somebody, especially if it's someone you don't know, and it's just you two. Or like when you're taking for your dogs for a walk or whatever, and you just walk past one person, and oh, if you lock eyes with each other, it's awkward. And then it's even more awkward if you say, "Oh, how are you doing today?" And then either they don't say anything or they mishear you. I'll get a lot of people, in particular, customers that come in, and I'll say, "Hello, welcome in. How can we help you?" etc. Right? Like, how
Uh-huh.
can we help you? Or how can I help you? And they'll say, good. How about you?"
Yeah.
Do you get that?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
people go to like either they're not listening, they're hard of hearing, or they just go to their default.
I hate when a customer walks in and I say, "Hey, how you doing?" and they take that as an invitation to actually tell me how
You
they're
get that
doing.
every once in a
And
while.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
I was just greeting you.
Yeah, just
I don't actually
I don't
want to
need your
hear,
life story,
but
man.
I don't say that.
No,
That's
and you
bad
listen.
customer
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
service.
Yeah. You
Um,
smile and suck it up.
how social are
Anyways,
you? It's
yeah,
fun
going back to that.
fun to be social sometimes. I love being with other people. I'd rather hang out at home.
More often than not. I mean, yeah, it's fun to be social sometimes,
I'd rather hang out at
but
home these
yeah.
days.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's fun to be social sometimes, and I just want us to get a different answer and not like 9 out of every 10 quiz we do. Okay. All right. I've received my
Ah,
answer.
this is a good one.
I got it. I think I
Oh
got a
my
good
God,
one.
it just scrolled down automatically to some other quiz. All right, what did you get?
Hagerman horse.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but the Hagerman or is it Jagerman? It's the H silent. Anyways, Hagerman's horse. Small and zebra-like. You are likely on the
On meth?
You are likely on the menu for everyone.
Oh.
Well, it depends how you look at that.
Yeah.
Ooh. Your best defense is your speed and your vigilance. You also happen to be a state fossil. but that fact is only widely known among fourth graders in Idaho. So don't go getting a big head.
Um,
All right, what
nice.
did you get?
I got the giant bison.
Oh,
It says you're a giant bison, bison latifrons. I'm probably mispronouncing that. At
hmm.
over 2 tons, you are
Jesus.
orny. That's what it said.
You are
Orney.
orny.
Orny.
Ah. Okay.
Um, when not fighting off American lions with your 8 foot wide horns, you're happy to chill with your pals and eat some Ice Age salad. Cool.
Some Ice Age sauce. Iceberg lettuce.
Oh,
What? I'm gonna confer to Chat GPT real quick. Or should I do DeepSeek? Should I fuck around with that again? Um, yeah, let's do DeepSeek. I'll be different. Um, m- give me recipe
for an
for
Ice Age.
Ice Age salad. Make it sound appetizing and it's and it's on the new Applebee's
The new Applebee's menu.
menu. Yes.
Nice.
All right. It's
I I haven't been to an
generating.
Applebee's in a long time. We almost got Applebee's for takeout a few weeks back or like a month back. And then we
Yeah,
opted for Denny's instead.
I would always opt for Denny's over Applebee's
Yeah, well, I think we were just getting
for sure.
DoorDash because we were
Yeah.
sick and staying like, you know, quarantined at home.
All right, let's see what this is all about. Ice Age salad, now on the Applebee's menu.
Mm.
Step into a refreshing, flavor-packed journey with our all-new Ice Age salad. A cool, crisp masterpiece that is as invigorating as a frosty mountain breeze. This salad is the perfect blend of hearty, fresh, and indulgent ingredients, designed to satisfy your cravings while keeping things light and vibrant, the ultimate escape from the ordinary. Ingredients:
It would have
base.
been really been funny if it didn't give any ingredients.
If what?
If it didn't give any ingredients.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah. Well, it did. Okay. So you could actually make this. A chilled mix of baby iceberg lettuce,
God,
shredded, yeah, 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 of course. Shredded kale and crunchy romaine,
okay.
perfectly crisp and refreshing. Protein, your choice of grilled chicken, succulent shrimp, or I thought it was gonna be like mammoth. Well, maybe like 10 years or so in the future, we'll have mammoth steaks, you know.
Yeah.
I
Get
would
some of
try it. I hate to tell you.
that mammoth meat.
I would definitely try a mammoth ribeye or something. Just like the size of your desk. Um, Topping sweet and tart dried cranberries, candy pecans. This sounds so generic and normal. I guess because
Yeah.
I put it on the Applebee's menu. Sliced green apples for a. This is okay. This is probably a close proximity to something that has existed, like a tie-in.
Hmm.
You know how big chain restaurants like that will do like a movie tie-in. This is probably what that could have been. Okay, yeah, you're boring, Deep Seek. There's nothing Ice Age
Just
about it except for
just just a
the
regular
iceberg
it's just
lettuce.
a pretty regular salad.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't sound like a bad salad,
No.
but just sounds like a regular salad.
Yeah. Anyways, I think on that note, um, I think we could end it there.
Yep, I think
And
so.
must like, and yeah, maybe I did the bit a little too long, but you know what?
That's okay.
It's okay.
I think it would have
And
been
we have
really funny if
if
one
what?
if we actually had gone into the episode with one of us thinking we were talking about the actual Ice Age and one of us really thinking we were talking about the movies.
Well, who's to say that? Yeah, I could have fully committed to it, but I was like, no, I want to actually contribute this. But I have thought about doing something like that on an episode coming up. So be ready, I guess. Also, April isn't too far off, so April Fools and all that.
Yep.
Some shenanigans can ensue. Also, our 200th episode is it's nigh, right?
It's coming
The
up.
200th episode. We are
This is 198.
looking at our feed. Yeah. This is officially episode 198. And of course, we split them up in between morning oddities. So after this, we'll have morning oddities, then episode 199, another morning oddities, and then 200. But yeah, we have something. We're gonna get that prepared. Expect a clip show, much like our 100th episode, just funny moments from the past 100 episodes. And yeah, we got to get to work on that. But that should be a fun time. That's one of my favorite episodes because it's just like a compilation, like a the maybe maybe when I call it the greatest hits, but the drunkest bits, um, of the podcast.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, we're gonna end that off here. Stay frosty. Because Ice Age. And what was my sign off last time that DeepSeek may have came up with as we were making fun of AI slop? It actually came up with a decent sign off.
I don't
It was like
remember.
something like I don't know, it was something stupid. But I remember. Yeah, I'll have to go back to that, or you could remind me.
Keep it cool.
Yeah, it was something like here, let's write a sign off for the drunk podcast. I accidentally put drunk podcat.
Duh.
Oh, but it corrected. Okay. Thanks for hanging out with us on The Odd Drunk, where the conversations are as unpredictable as our drink choices, whether you're sipping something fancy or chugging straight from the carton. Remember, life's too short to be sober and serious. Stay weird, stay tipsy, and we'll catch you next time for another round of chaos. Cheers.
Cheers.
I don't think it was as good as that one, but that's something. And yeah, we can end it there. Cheers.
This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. The Odd Drunk Podcast recommends you follow their Instagram and join their Facebook group for more fun content. To visit all of our current streaming and social media platforms, visit the link tree in the description. If you enjoy the show, we would be appreciated if you would leave a review on Apple Podcasts. The Odd Drunk Podcast would like to remind you to drink responsibly and not to drink and drive.